I have one announcement to make. You'll notice we're only 3 board members plus our councillor. Unfortunately, due to circumstances of a personal nature, Stephen Karkik has resigned from the board, so we will be looking for a new board member, and we will be holding a by-election in a few months' time. Right, any declarations of interest items on the agenda?
Do you want to maybe just check if there were any declarations of interest on the last agenda that need to be carried through today?
Oh yes, absolutely. In the last meeting, Shelley, you had a declaration of interest in regards to the college.
A grant
The
that's
grant.
going to be considered
That's
tonight, so we
going to be
probably need
considered
to carry that
Carry it through
to
tonight.
this meeting as well.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Shelley. Any others? Oh, I have 2. The Friends of Ōtaki Ratanga. I'm a trustee on that as well.
So I'll just note when we go through the grants that you guys didn't partake in.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, we will now enter public speaking time. You have 2 minutes to speak. Please treat everybody with respect, and there will be no discussions or arguments or anything of that nature, and you will be asked to finish at the end of your 2 minutes, so please abide by that rule as we have a huge amount of people to get through tonight.
Sorry, I'll just... First person on the list is Brent from the Ōtaki Scout Group.
Where would you like me? So long since I've been here.
Yeah,
Over there, that's a good place. There's half a minute gone. So, Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you for considering this. My application, as you know full well, is from the Ōtaki Scout Group, and we're just undertaking nationally a huge change in our program and the way things are done. So what I'm asking for help with is the purchase of manuals for our leaders, which I think you might have seen a picture of, and yes, they're quite big, and yes, they have got pictures in them, they have got colour, and also manuals of the type that our young people use. Because it's quite a lot. This is close to $40, this is $20. So that would help us considerably, so we can keep on looking after the young people that we're trying to turn into better citizens for the future for the community. In a nutshell, any questions?
No.
I've just got a comment. Congratulations on 50 years as a volunteer firefighter.
Thank you.
Very
That's
special
another
occasion the other night.
It was
Yeah.
very
And
enjoyable.
only 1%, was it, of volunteer firefighters make it to 50 years service, which is pretty
I hate
amazing.
to think what happens to the others. I think what it is the brigades. Now I've got to be careful seeing my boss is over there. I think the brigades find out how much the 50-year medal is going to cost, and they kick them out beforehand.
No, huge achievement.
Thank you.
Well done.
No
Simple
questions?
enough.
That's absolutely fine.
Thank you very much.
Very
And you'll excuse me when I do leave early, and thank you for putting me ahead of the list. I have somewhere else to go.
I'd just like to say that we have actually all read the grants applications. We have all studied them, so we know what's going on. So it's not as if we're cutting you short in that regard. We have actually gone through them all very thoroughly.
So did I, actually.
And I'll be in contact tomorrow. Next person on the list is Trevor Hunter from the Ōtaki Voting Club.
Thank you for letting me speak tonight. Our application is for converting a hydraulic system on the voting club tractor. We did one ourselves last year with money we raised. We've got 2 tractors. We obviously use them to launch the boats, but they're used a lot for rescuing members of the public off the beach. It's amazing the amount of people who think the BMW is okay to drive on the beach. The hydraulic system on the original tractors is not sufficient for what we need for our launching our boats. And the money we're applying for tonight is to convert to a second tractor and the general maintenance of our tractor. It's costing us $3,800 to convert it. These vehicles are in the salt water all the time. Maintenance is a huge issue, as you can imagine. And any money we can receive from the community board would be great. We appreciate it to go towards this. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions of
Oh,
Trevor?
good timing.
James?
You've already answered one a little bit, I guess, in justifying the board considering the amounts the tractor is used for assisting people on beaches. I've heard several calls go out for assistance, and from what I understand, the guys do where possible, and when someone's around, use the tractor to, I guess, from a community perspective as well, rather than just from a boating club.
It has been, yeah. We recently dragged a van with 10 people from a rest home off the beach. Yeah. So, they shouldn't be there, that's not the point. And tow companies just don't go there. They won't go on the beach. So
Okay. The second one I have is in relation to the application, but if you don't mind, just while you're here, had a meeting on the 5th of May with staff around a couple of topics, including Ōtaki Boating Club lease request, and I just wondered if you had any contact from them since around the 5th of March.
no.
Right. Thanks, Trevor.
Being very patient.
12 years or something.
Okay, thank you. And like Grant,
The original meeting in the fire
I
station.
double booked tonight, so I'm going to step away.
Oh,
Thank you.
See you later, Trevor.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks a lot.
Next person on the list is Di from the Friends of the Ōtaki Retirement.
Right, Tina Forshaw. I'm very pleased you've all read our submission, so I don't need to go through that. So we're really looking for funding that will help us continue with our current work, which is building the membership and building a solid base of funding that will assist the administration of the Friends to the point where we can then start applying for major grants from lotteries and other major organisations like that. So we are holding a book sale on the 14th of August, write that in your diaries, here in the hall. And we would like to be able to purchase a flag that will highlight our tours that we can put out at the gate when we do the tours of the campsite, but also for our book sale, for signage and for advertising, and for the hall hire as well. And in addition to that, we can use as much money as you can throw at us. So don't worry, we've got a list as long as you're on of things that need to be done. But we're making great progress. We've almost finished the roof on the Rotunda building. We just need $2,700 more to finish it. So that's really exciting, and we're hoping to raise a lot of that through the book sale.
Thanks, Di. The building's starting to look more improved every time we go there. It's
Yeah.
looking better.
It's looking really good.
Anyone have any questions? James?
Since the last time we met, have things progressed well with Doc?
Yes, we have an excellent relationship with DOC and with Heritage New Zealand. They're really supportive, and the council, I have to say. Quite a few councillors have joined in and come to our meetings, and yeah, I feel like we're on a really solid path now. Yeah.
Thanks, Di.
Awesome.
I'll hang about just because I'm nosy.
Yeah,
I'll
you
get
can.
one of those.
Next person on the list is Ian from the Ōtaki Volunteer Fire Brigade.
Kia ora. I'm Ian King from the Ōtaki Fire Brigade. Brigade served Ōtaki for 103 years, and it's made up of 25 keen men and women from the community. To date this year we've responded to 128 incidents, which is 50% up on last year. Currently under health and safety regulations, the Brigade is finding it more difficult to stage realistic training scenarios, and this includes bringing persons down ladders from upper stories, placing persons in smoky environments or confined spaces, and placing persons in vehicles that are then damaged to simulate extrication training. So previously we had no issues with using other firefighters or family members or members of the public to act as the victim in these training scenarios, but with the changes to health and safety, it's become much more difficult to do this, almost impossible to achieve. So our application is for a training dummy, a replacement human, if you want to call it that, a rescue style dummy that we can use in those scenarios for more realistic training and leading to better trained firefighters. The supply of these dummies is obviously from a limited market. You can't get them from many places. They've got to come out of America, and obviously the cost of the dummy, I'm afraid, is a little bit larger than we can afford. So hence our application to the community board, and thank you for taking the time to hear our application. Any questions?
Does anybody have any questions?
No. Firstly, I'd like to make a comment and just thank you for all of your service to our community. It's really appreciated. And you mentioned about the percentage of incidents increasing this year by 50%. Why is that? Is it the expressway? Is it car accidents?
No. We've had more motor accidents of late than previously, but I don't know. We had an e-bike fire this morning, so there you go. Something different.
Wow.
Yeah, so can't explain it.
No.
Last year may have been an anomaly because of COVID. Calls may have been down compared to what they are. But we are way up. We're sort of heading for possibly if we carry on 300 calls for the year, which is huge for us. Yeah.
You're an amazing group of people.
Thank you very much for passing
I
on.
hear the siren going off quite frequently.
Yeah, I
Jan-
think that's,
James, did you-
supporting something like you is amazing because you're our first responders to everything.
I think you have a question and an apology. I received an invite from you, but due to the overwhelming influx in my inbox, didn't see it in time for the invite, so I apologise for not having I don't mind doing it publicly. And as the others have said, Julie,
Apologise to Bridget.
Shelley kind of stole the thunder by, quite rightly, by acknowledging Brent's service. So again, just amazing work that you guys do, nationally but also locally.
Cool, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next person on the list is Yvonne from Ōtaki Primary School.
Hi, kia ora. I'm Yvonne Tahere and I'm Deputy Principal at Ōtaki Primary School. And our school would love the board to please consider $500 to support our school with our matariki, special matariki hani. The $500 is to go towards the meat that is to go into the hani. And Shane Butcher, we've gone local and asked Shane to give us a quote. The matariki event is over 2 days and the tamariki will all be involved in preparing the hani, sleeping the night at school and getting up to look out for matariki in the morning before the fire gets lit. And it's a way of drawing in our parent community to come and enjoy the hani luncheon with us to finish off our term.
Sounds like fun. Sounds magnificent. Anybody got any questions? That you can have sleeping in a classroom with a whole lot of kids.
It's actually the tour kind of classes that are sleeping over. Unfortunately, a new entrant teacher, so I won't be sleeping.
Okay. So you drew the long straw.
I'll just organise the name.
Thanks a lot.
Our next person on the list is Joshua from Te Kakono or Te Kura Kohangarau.
Tēnā tātou katoa, he uri tēnei o Atiawa ki whakarongotai, Ngāti Raukawa Ngāti Tōrangatira, ko Peter Hosio tuku pāpa, ko Anne-Marie Ropata tuku mama, noko nei ahau, ngā mihi o te pōkia koutou katoa. Just good to see everyone here. My name's Josh Hosio. My mother is Anne-Marie Hosio, my father's Peter Hosio, and I'm from Ōtaki. I've grown up in Ōtaki. And I just want to say how cool it is to see everyone in this room. What an awesome community we have and live in, all the awesome things going on. So it's my first time here, but awesome to see all these groups here. My son has just started at Kohanga Reo here in Ōtaki. We're sport for choice here with the number of kohanga we have, and there's a massive wait list on all the kohanga here. Unfortunately, the way it's been run previously, they've been grossly underfunded, and our application is to upgrade our playground. Gone are the days when we can get a whole lot of people in, parents and stuff like that, to chop down this and that and build it. That's how it was done 10 years ago. Currently it's not compliant at all. We have 2 students with learning difficulties that we basically can't get out there by themselves. The surface and the playground itself are not safe, and we're spending just as much on maintenance at the moment. So our application is to go in with our other funding applications to hopefully upgrade our playground, because what we don't want is our kids getting stuck inside in this changing world, getting stuck on tablets and whatnot. Obviously, if they're outside and playing, they're more active, they're learning better, they're not sitting watching TV most of the time. So it's enough of it.
Thanks, Josh. Anybody got any questions? Oh, okay, thanks a lot.
Next on the list is Rachel and Christian Martin from the Special Olympics Council.
Hello, ko Rachel Tagoinoa, and this is Christian. Christian's one of our Special Olympic athletes from Ōtaki, and just like as Josh at the bit there, wearing their gold, silver and bronze medals. We're asking for you to consider supporting us taking 12 athletes to the National Olympics, which is held in Hamilton in December. So we have 26 athletes on the Company Coast actually participating in 10-pin bowling, and we'll be taking a team of 12 away. We've also got a golf, swimming, and 10-pin bowling, football and basketball teams going as well. So a big group of people. So thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
Obviously, we've got medal winners already.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Yeah. And Josh has got some rather large ones from our last Olympics.
Let's have a look, Josh.
So,
See the medals.
So their top scorers. So Christian's done 5 strokes in a row. His average score is 158, and our top scorer is 212. So
Wow. Crikey. Well done.
Oh yeah, and his mascot was the Kapiti Kiwi.
Any questions? Other than good luck and bring home, come back and show us the medals you win while you're away.
Thank you very much.
Next person on the list is Neil from the Ōtaki Bowling Club.
Good evening and thank you for seeing me tonight. I'm Neil Tunnicliffe from the Ōtaki Bowling and Petanque Club. I joined the bowling club 3 years ago and I knew nothing about it, and the members mostly would say I still don't. But it's been a real eye-opener to me because it's a 400-person club and it's very family focused, so we have a lot of children and grandchildren even there. You wouldn't believe it, but some of the bowling circles I'm one of the younger members, but we do have younger members. But it's been an eye-opener to me because there's a large number of women in the club who are widowed, who all know each other, who mix together, go out together. A large number of men that are elderly and lonely and so on. The common theme is that most of them are on very modest incomes, which has been a surprise to me because I haven't really been in that type of community before. And because of that, I'm making this application so we can get a new vacuum cleaner. It's not you wouldn't think it was a lot of money or a big deal, but I'm in no position to ask people for money within the club because they simply haven't got it. They live from week to week. And if they've got any money, they will occasionally buy a bag of biscuits because we have biscuits at afternoon tea. I don't. I give our 91-year-old member $40 twice a year, and she doesn't say where it comes from. And she buys the biscuits and gives her something to do, and I feel better for it. And as I take the green waste as I did on Saturday, we're very proud of our gardens, it's a lot of green waste. And I don't feel comfortable giving the club treasurer the cost of taking it to the Ōtaki tip. So it's been an experience for me to meet a large community of people. I believe it's the biggest sports club we've got. I didn't even know where it was. And I'm pleased that I've had an opportunity to tell you a bit about the bowling club.
Thanks, Neil. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, thanks, Neil.
Next person on the list is Irene McShane and Liz Church. We'll just, Irene.
Ladies over there, I'll just talk, and if there's no unanswered questions. Thank you very much for inviting us to this meeting tonight. I'm from here on behalf of the capital, Kamal, and we are seeking funding from each of the KCDC community boards with some modest funding to help us with our hall hire costs. And I concur with the gentleman who spoke before that many of our members are retired, in fact most of them are, and they have very modest income. So we try to keep our membership subscriptions not extravagant. And it's very difficult. You can't have a choir without having concerts, and it's very difficult to make money from concerts to subsidise the ongoing costs of the choir. So one of the main benefits of the choir is the weekly rehearsals that we have for our members to get together socially. It's mentally and physically helpful for everybody. It has many benefits, and we feel that some assistance with the whole hire could help us with our ordinary costs aside from our concert costs. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
You doing one of the concerts in Ōtaki, or are they all down?
Well, mostly we have done concerts in Ōtaki. We did the Messiah a few years ago. The problem is getting suitable venues that are suitable for a concert choral singing, basically. And that's one of the reasons why we can't make money or significant amounts of money from the concerts. So while we put a lot of work in and we have a dedicated audience, we're sort of doing the best we can. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, how many people from Ōtaki are in the time?
I think that was in the little spreadsheet.
I think there's about 10 or 12 from Ōtaki.
Yeah, we have members from Ōtaki to the village and basically beyond. And we get new members, all the people come and go all the time, or all the members pass away and we get new members in. So it's the membership is steady at the moment.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool, that's the end of the grant time. Did you want to? If you're here for a grant and you don't want to stay, I will be in contact in the next couple of days if you.
James.
I did try and bring to talk to Samara, but the Ngichi Jamie Bull was to speak tonight to the grant around zero waste Ōtaki, but has had a bereavement in her extended family that she's been, well not family, but that she's been dealing with. So I've had that discussion with her around the application. I'm happy to speak to it, but I think we kind of know it's pretty clear. So obviously it's not usual that we don't allow people in the here, but it's fine.
It's extenuating circumstances, and it is a good Ōtaki project. So,
awesome. Next person on the list is Rob McIntyre.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity to speak. I wanted to first, just I live on Toronto Road. I'm a member of the community liaison group with regard to Ashford Park, and if anybody's read the local newspapers, they'll be aware of some of the bits and pieces going on with the walkway there. I have become aware that our Ōtaki community board representative may be changing. I'm a little bit concerned around due process and transparency with regard to how that's occurred. I have expressed to happens to be here, and I can, in an email that I responded to Shelley around some issues with the group and transparency, and given the Ōtaki Community Board's involvement in that, I think there is room here for just to have a pause and consider that it's really important as a member of that group that I am aware of some of the things that are going on. I've been to all of the meetings since March last year, and I have not heard. I've not been aware that the current member was going to be replaced. I just think it's a slippery slope when we live in a democratic society that we decisions are made on behalf of the group or that aren't really fully transparent. And I wanted to express that. And I don't know Shelley from a bar of soap apart from meeting her at community meetings, so I don't have a personal interest here. I have a more interest around the due process and transparency.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any questions? Right, next one.
Next person on the list is JC Butcher.
Hi. To speed this up, is it a whiteboard marker? To use a whiteboard?
Why do we want a whiteboard?
Well, I just thought rather than trying to explain it verbally.
No, sorry, I don't.
Okay. So I am here in support of the equine advocacy group regarding the horse riding tracks down at Ashford Park. My main concern is all about safety. I'm a walker and I'm a cyclist. I go down there and I walk and I cycle the tracks. Perfectly fine, nothing wrong with them. The tracks were then switched over. I then had to use the horse riding track. Nothing wrong with that track. One day I'm walking down here, there's a kid on the pony who is now riding her pony on the cyclist track. She's losing control. But there are horses at Ashford Park who gallop up to the fence line. This kid on her pony is absolutely distraught. I'm on this track walking. I am seeing an accident that's going to happen. I said to her, would you like some help? She goes, oh my God, I think I'm going to die. The horses that are galloping towards her pony are turning around now and booting into the fence line through the wire, kicking her pony. She got kicked on the leg. I jumped over the fence, grabbed hold of her pony. I got booted on the lateral side of my knee, pushed my kneecap to the medial side, which is an ongoing problem. That kid was lucky to get out of there alive. So I am here to support the track of a paper road down to the river. I don't want to see this happening to any child. It was so dangerous. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you. Any questions?
Sorry. I'm part of the CLG group that's been embroiled in this fiasco over the track. Did you report that to the council?
No, I don't know.
Sorry, no, we can't have discussions like this.
Okay.
You're not down to speak.
I'm making a statement.
You're not down to speak. No, sorry, you can't do it. No, well, you speak when you're called up to speak then.
Right. Next person on the list is Angela Taylor.
I'm not Angela Taylor, and I'd like to speak for myself later. But due to my beautiful speaking voice and the fact that Angela's really shy, I would have borrowed if I read her statement.
And I'm to be fair.
Yep. Yes, we don't want vomit in here.
So the only thing we need to say is please don't repeat anything that anybody else has said. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. Once we've heard one comment on one thing, we don't need another one.
People are allowed to speak.
But I guess a lot of us are here to say exactly the same thing, Chris, because we all feel the same, and I would have thought it would have been quite good to hear from a bunch of people that they perceive the problem as the same, rather than thinking it's just one person's problem.
Yeah. Carry on.
Okay, so this is Angela. So we're talking about the Tiroto Road to River Walkway. The track is too narrow. Angela's talking from a horse point of view. Issues are there's no room to pass other riders travelling in the other direction. Horses in the paddock are running the fence line and kicking out. There's a potential to make horses get stuck in the fence and ride or horse pony to bolt and also kick out and get stuck in the fence. Pony Club did a ride on the 1st of May 2021. There were 10 riders and 9 adult walkers. So it was a reasonably large group. Horses cantered across the paddock kicking out. This caused our group, younger riders and less experienced riders, to be scared. I think the paddock horses potentially could have been more inquisitive, but as a large group that we were in, they backed off from the fence. But they did canter around and kick out. In my view, we were lucky. It would have only taken one of the elements to change to another outcome. E.g. a horse close to the fence kicked out and started one of the ridden ponies. We have had one or more ponies try to shoot around and kick out. Sorry, I stumbled over something I hadn't read it before. I keep thinking of the site safe saying the role of the dice. We all take risks every day, but we try to eliminate or minimise the risks. I think to minimise the risk of potential incident or accident, we need to widen the path. A apart from cost, is there any reason the internal fence between the equestrian track and the water/bike riders could not be replaced and put in the middle? To me, it seems an easy solution.
Okay. Well, you're going to talk to. We might as well start doing both.
Oh, yes, seeing as I'm up here. Kia ora, I'm Anne Harrington. I'm a walker and a rider, a bush rider, not a bike rider. And I use the path quite a lot, mainly for walking. I was going to ride on it too, but now that the horse side's been moved to the skinny side, I'd be too scared. As a walker, I couldn't see why that happened because both sides are perfectly good to walk on. It's a lovely track and a beautiful facility. The skinny side, the problem is, for those people who don't know horses, Ashford Park breeds horses, so there's, breeding horses and there's foals and young stock, and as we all know, with all sorts of babies, they will be silly, run about, their mothers will be protective, and so for people riding a very skinny track next to them, it's not safe. And I can't for the life of me see why the sides were swapped, because both sides are lovely to walk on. I think that all walkways should be shareable wherever possible. That should be our aim, and there should be really good reasons why we're not. So I think the really cheap solution is just to swap sides again. And yeah, I support horses having access. Let's go.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Marathon.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. So I've been listening to these conversations and I haven't been part of the whole conversation, so forgive me if I'm asking questions that...
Oh, that's okay. This is the first time I've attended one of these.
So my question is, that walkway you're talking about, I understand that's private land, it's Winstones, is that right?
I believe so.
And you've had some conversations with council staff, I think?
Not me.
No?
No,
I'm not sure what you want
no
the community board to do about it, that's all, because if it's private land, we can't actually dictate what the private landowners do with it. So I'm just wanting to know, I'm hearing the concerns, I'm hearing what you're saying.
It feeds into the transparency piece around the community liaison group discussions, in my opinion, and some conversations by omission, perhaps, rather than being fully transparent. So that's my opinion. I think the decision has been made as it is now, and I think there was some confusion around how that decision came about.
Because the other thing that I think it was you said about the transparency was that the person from this group that's representing your group is going to be changed. I don't believe there's been any conversation about that around this table.
It may not have been around this table, and I've heard it secondhand, and I'm obviously not privy to your discussions, but it's what I've heard. That would be a concern for me. I want to express that concern. Should it be on the table, or had a decision already been made?
Thank you.
And I guess just from my point of view, I'd like the community board to, represent the community and put our feelings forward. But
we had a very strong representation from the walkers and cyclists about when the track got switched
to
the board.
And
they came and did exactly the same
and
thing.
having it from the equestrians, Christine.
Pardon?
And now you're having it from the equestrians.
I did the same. Yes, Shelley, please do not interrupt. And they put forward a very compelling case as well. So when it all boils down, it came down to Winstone's decision, and that was it. We do not have any power to actually make a decision one way or the other.
Because I understand you're saying what can you do, and I'm not really sure what you can do. So why were the cyclists and walkers here talking to you then?
Exactly.
Same reason you are.
Exactly.
But we then went to a joint meeting just to see what the problem was, because as the community board we need to actually keep abreast of all this.
So did you go to a joint meeting with Winstones?
Yes.
So I didn't know about that. When was that at the time?
Oh, gosh.
The decision wasn't made by Winstones.
No.
The decision was made by the community liaison group. But as I say, I don't speaking personally, I was under the impression that at the end of that meeting it was going to mediation regardless of a vote, and it turned out that the vote was the final decision. So there was some confusion, it wasn't transparent in my opinion.
All well publicised, at least in my opinion.
And to make it clear to all transparency, there is actually no part in the terms of reference in the community liaison group for a community board representative to be on that group. We have never had a vote on it. We have never actually appointed anybody through any of our meetings to actually be on that group. It's been just happened. So I think Shelley started going originally. She just went and came to a meeting and said she'd been.
No,
And so did you all go to
No,
I would like to challenge that.
Well, you can challenge
That
it.
is
So
wrong.
not in
That
any
is
of the
wrong.
minutes anywhere. So, but that's a discussion
Yes,
for
it's not.
later on.
We don't have terms
Yeah.
of reference here.
It is in the
So-
community
They are
liaison group minutes,
representative.
actually. So I've got some community liaison group minutes here that I'll put to Smart.
So,
Anyway, I'll sit
yeah.
down, but
I'd
I
like to
just-
say something
Oh,
to you. Unfortunately, we do actually, KCDC normally does pretty well at including everyone. And yes, this is private land, however, normally this would not happen. So it slipped under the radar somehow. We do have a very good strategy on all three modes. And
We
just
being the council.
the council. And yes, this community board did listen to the walkers and cyclists, and they did take the views forward, so I think that's fair enough. They should do that for the equestrians also.
I would very much like that.
And with regard to the CLG,
What's that?
the community liaison group for Ashford Park, as I was at that meeting, my understanding also was that Winstones was offering mediation if the vote was not unanimous. The vote at that meeting was not unanimous, and then it was decided 2 days later that they would swap the tracks. I wrote to the general manager, who wrote back and said that the CLG had decided that the tracks would be swapped, and I challenged that because that is not what I came from the meeting understanding, and obviously it's not what Rob came from the meeting understanding. And my concern with that CLG is that there are decisions being made that are not transparent either, and they are not done in the proper manner. And so I do have a motion that I foreshadow I will be putting to the board regarding the CLG, and in fact a motion with regard to the track. And so I would like to know at what stage that would be appropriate to put on the table. Janice. No, it does not.
Sorry,
It
what was
doesn't.
that?
People put motions on the table at council all the time without notifying.
Just a question, could you have gone back to Winstone's investigation minutes? and see what
I sent them back to the facilitator. Including that.
Do you want me to keep going through?
So was there a question?
Can I sit
Yeah,
down?
you can sit down, Anne. Absolutely.
Next person is Richard. Sorry.
Chairperson and community board members, thank you for letting us speak. My name is Richard Schiff. I was on the initial advisory group for the Cycleway, Walkways and Bikeways Committee at Kapiti Coast District Council in about 2002. I've now moved to Haraphanua, and I'm the chairperson of the Haraphanua Equestrian Advocacy Group. I first want to congratulate Kapiti Coast District Council and community boards for some of the great shared paths we have. I've been pushing Haraphanua to do something similar, and I'm afraid I haven't gotten very far. But you guys have made tremendous strides over 20 years. But I was disappointed that all parties couldn't resolve the Ashford Park track dispute where all parties were really catered for. I've walked and ridden the track myself and questioned why the horses are even separated from other users. They aren't on most of the other tracks in the Kapiti Coast. Why separate them on that track? It's unnecessary. Forcing equestrians onto the track nearest the horses grazing on a very narrow track is making it dangerous to ride. And I'd ask the question, if you had a cycleway where people couldn't actually ride their bikes, would that really be a cycleway?
And that's what's happening down at Ashford Park. You can't really safely ride your horse on the bridleway. I feel we should just take down the middle fence and just have a wide track, and then everybody could use it, and there'd be no problems like every other path we have in the capital. However, as all parties can't seem to come to a solution where equestrians feel it's safe to ride, I ask that the community board ask Captain Coast District Council to provide them access by way of the paper road that goes directly to the river. Thank you.
I'm just
so when it comes up as an item under members' business, as has been foreshadowed by the chair, I think that would be the appropriate place to raise.
But then these are to do with the speakers, so.
But that's no. There's no item on the agenda. It hasn't been provided as a notice of motion ahead of time. The chair has foreshadowed that they intend to bring it up under members' business. I think that would be the appropriate place for it. But that's at the discretion of the chair. Is simply my advice.
Next one, if you have any questions, bring us back in a second.
We take a brief break when the speakers are finished. We take just a couple-minute break.
Next person on the list is Ray McRae.
Whilst I am basically speaking about the same issues, I just want to recount a personal experience. I've ridden the track both sides. Originally I rode it on the original side and it was absolutely fine. But 10 days ago, a friend and I went for a ride down there, and of course we went on the new track. My friend was terrified because once again, as somebody's already mentioned, the horses that live on the right hand side there, behind a very unsafe fence, came bowling across the paddock. Her horse freaked out, just about flipped her off to the point where she got off and wouldn't be back on the horse to finish our ride. We did continue and went on our merry way, but same result on the way back. The horses all come galloping over to the fence. They're kicking, they're bucking, and of course your horse has got to be pretty darn steady to deal with that without actually hitting a horse. And I just feel like probably everyone else does, that it was a really bad decision.
Any questions?
No, thank you.
The next person on the list is Ruth Halliday.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. What was the first question reads on Council Suffolk Railway Advisory Group, and I'm the third one. And I'm trying to build on what he established all those years ago. I'm also speaking on behalf of the Kapiti Equestrian Advocacy Group, which has over 400 members, and have asked us to speak to everybody that we can possibly speak to about trying to get either the track made safe, which in my opinion would somebody's already suggested, take the middle fence out, put it along the racecourse area which has to be fenced anyway, and share it as we do tracks all over the place in the rest of the district, or you support our request to council to open paper road, because as everybody has clearly said, what we've got at the moment is not safe and is not used, and therefore, in my opinion, a complete waste of money. So if we could have more support to talk to council again, who are obviously speaking to Winstones on a frequent basis, to either get that track fixed or to open the paper road. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you. We'll just take a 2-minute break.
So just after the last speaker.
Oh, the last speaker, not now. Oh, after the last speaker.
Next person is Dennis Harnett.
Hi, my name is Dennis Harnett. I'm also a member of the CLG. I'd just like to concur with Rob about the lack of transparency over this whole issue. It's about it, really.
Okay, sweet and short.
Anna Wright.
Hi, I'm another horse rider, and also about the track. I understand that it's private land, but I do have hopefully a solution. The old track, which is a safer track, that everybody is allowed to use it. The only provider being that dog's on the lead. The new track is for cyclists and walkers only, and dogs loose. That way everybody can go on a track that suits them, and they're safe. So if you don't want to deal with horses, you go on the other track. I understand that this is private land, but I am also concerned that we raise safety issues as opposed to convenience issues, and they don't seem to be heard, and the transparency behind that. So if we cannot resolve the safety issue, I used to ride there all the time, and now I don't ride the river. I can't get onto the riverbank on that side. So if we cannot get through that way, can we have the paperwork taken, please? That's what I say.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you. Any questions? Thanks a lot.
And the last person is Mary.
Hi. Thanks very much for having us here. My name's Mary. My claim to fame is I'm a coach. I'm a competitor, and my big claim to fame in this respect is that 20 years ago I rode not the paper road, not around Ashford Park, but from the Bluff to Cape Reinga. So I know a bit about riding horses in different places, quite a bit. And I'm also a coach, I'm a pony club coach. I want people to ride safely. I want them to be out there and enjoying being where they are. I want to be able to say, I used to be able to say, go down the road. But the road isn't safe. You've probably seen things, horses and cars don't actually mix very well. And so how much I endorse an initiative like this to give people somewhere safe to ride off the road. Somewhere safe to ride, but it is not. It's not safe for me. It's not safe for Jemima, age 6, because she's on a leading rein beside me on my horse, and the track isn't wide enough to tow her along beside me. It's not safe for someone who is rather frightened of their horse if it gets a little agitated because of everything else that's going on. It's certainly not safe for me if I'm on a young horse and I meet a horse coming in the other direction, because one of us is going to kick the other, quite apart from the horses in the other place and the fence. It's not safe. When a community board or a council, when an initiative is put forward, if I wanted to build a playground, I guarantee that I wouldn't be allowed to build that playground before lots of people have come through and checked health and safety. No one's done a health and safety check. No one who knows anything has done a health and safety check on that board, on that track. It's not safe. It's not safe for me, it's not safe for the kids, it's not safe for the horses, therefore it's not safe for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Any questions of Mary? Okay, she's gone. Is that the last one?
I captured everyone who wanted to speak.
Yes. So, 2 minutes, just 2 minute break. Everyone needs to use the, 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 everyone needs to use the